Picture this: a young, white, ambitious teacher with good intentions, drive, and a passion for education decides to teach in a low-income, predominantly black school with the hopes of making a real difference. Despite the teacher's initial difficulties, their sacrifices eventually turn the kids' grades and subsequently their lives upside down. The teacher's faith in education and in themselves is restored. Turns out this is not so difficult to imagine. This is the white teacher savior narrative, used in films such as Up the Down Staircase, Dangerous Minds, Freedom Riders, and the Ron Clark story. However, when this narrative gets played out in real life, the ending is not so happy.
Makes for great Hollywood TV and crappy educational policy.
Instead, these once idealistic white teachers quit or transfer to other schools, creating a never-ending revolving door of short-term, mainly inexperienced teachers assigned the most difficult classrooms.
Every year, over 500,000 teachers make the decision not to come back to their classroom.
This has a huge impact on student learning gains, leaving poor minority students to fall further behind in the racialized achievement gap. One organization has made closing the achievement gap within U.S. classrooms its personal responsibility: Teach for America. TFA recruits college graduates from elite universities to teach for 2 years in a low-income school with only half a summer of prior training. However, TFA trainees generally feel unprepared for teaching when put in a classroom, especially in difficult classroom environments that few experienced teachers can manage effectively.
First day was pretty miserable. I had a lot of trouble keeping kids on task, keeping them focused. I just felt totally drained.
TFA has been accused of perpetuating white savior complex, as the privileged recruited teacher elites work with the underprivileged to promote their own image, perpetuating structural problems within the U.S. educational system. Some of the main criticisms of TFA are that young, constantly rotating TFA trainees create the revolving door effect, with 56.4% leaving their initial placement after the first 2 years. This creates a cycle of continuous lower quality instruction, lower student achievement, and the inability of schools to build up their own institutional capacity. Second, studies show that when teachers are constantly being recycled, at-risk students are given the impression they are unworthy of time or effort. And third, since TFA teachers serve in low-income areas, they are paired with minority students, which creates a racial mismatch. Even in TFA training classes, trainees never engage in conversations about white privilege or white race. So in general, TFA trainees perform similarly to undercertified teachers, but not as well as traditionally certified ones. This raises the question, what are the benefits of TFA? TFA succeeds in that it provides a way of getting teachers into struggling school districts where turnover is high and bodies are desperately needed. And many of these criticisms are based on pre-existing structural issues in the education system, such as lack of teacher support. So what can be done to remedy urban teaching? In 1996, Martin Haberman observed 7 characteristics of star urban teachers. They are 30 to 50 years old. They are people of color. They are from an urban area. They have raised children. They have held other jobs. And they have learned to live in a somewhat violent context. So how do we find and cultivate and keep these teachers? Through strategies that are geared towards minority recruitment and teacher retention, which will slowly transform urban education and improve student learning gains. Since 2009, increased funding for TFA has allowed the organization to have more targeted strategies for minority recruitment. The results have been positive. Even from 2011 to 2015, the staff diversity increased from 39% to 52%. Turns out this has also helped with teacher retention, as a Harvard study suggests African American and Latino corps members stay in schools longer than their white and Asian counterparts. Strategies aimed at teacher retention are also crucial. Darling Hammond suggests,
what we need to do to address this problem with teacher retention is
ensuring high-quality preparation, start mentoring programs for new teachers, and develop qualified principals and administration. The main problem with white savior complex is that in these underfunded, understaffed, low-income, low-performing minority schools, a white teacher caring is not enough. There needs to be structural change, such as these strategies aimed at minority recruitment and teacher retention. And even some films reflect how effective these changes can be, such as Stand and Deliver, Precious, and Lean on Me. Teachers are there to help students reach their maximum potential. Minority, low-income students have historically been denied this possibility. However, if programs like TFA abandon the white savior narrative and continue to work towards minority recruitment and teacher retention, it could drastically change the urban educational landscape.